I was sitting in the corner of an upscale bar downtown on a Friday night, nursing a glass of whiskey I did not really want. The dim lighting made it easy to blend into the shadows, which was exactly what I needed. Then I heard it. Laughter. Loud, obnoxious, and painfully familiar. My eyes drifted across the room to a VIP table where 5 people sat drinks, flowing voices carrying. Among them was Amanda, my ex-wife, looking radiant in an expensive dress. Next to her sat Derek, her new husband, wearing a polo shirt with a logo I recognized immediately. It was the logo of the company I had built 3 years ago. The irony was almost poetic. Derek had no idea that his boss, the man who signed his paychecks, was sitting 10 feet away. Before I tell you how this night changed everything, I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below. And if you have ever been underestimated by someone who thought they were better than you, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you will want to see how this plays out. Let me take you back to where this all began. Amanda and I met during our final year at the University of Texas. We were both computer science majors, spending more time in the lab than anywhere else. Our first date was not some fancy restaurant or movie theater. It was in the library at 2 a.m, both of us coding the same project fueled by terrible coffee and shared ambition. She was brilliant, sharp mind, quick wit, and she came from a family with money, real money. The kind that meant she never had to worry about student loans or rent. After graduation, we moved to San Francisco together. Amanda landed a job at one of the big tech companies. 6-figure salary right out of the gate. Benefits, stock options, the whole package. I had offers, 2 good ones, but I turned them all down. I wanted to build something of my own, an AI automation tool designed specifically for small businesses, something that could level the playing field. Amanda said she supported me. At first, maybe she did. I worked out of our garage 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Lines of code blurred together. Coffee became a food group. Amanda would come home from her office designer bag on her shoulder and find me exactly where she had left me that morning, hunched over a laptop surrounded by empty takeout containers. The tension started small. Little comments here and there. "When are you going to get a real job, Hubert? We cannot keep living like this. My salary is barely covering both of us." Then the comments became arguments. Her friends were buying houses in Palo Alto. We were eating ramen noodles for the 3rd time that week. I tried to explain my vision, tried to show her the prototype, the user feedback, the potential, but all she saw were unpaid bills, a bank account hovering near zero, and no health insurance. This went on for 18 months. 18 months of me promising it would get better, that we were so close to a breakthrough. 18 months of her patience, wearing thinner and thinner. Then came that night in October. I came home late, excited because I had finally solved a critical bug in the system. The apartment was dark. I flipped on the light and saw suitcases by the door. Amanda was sitting on the couch, already dressed to leave. "I cannot do this anymore," she said. Her voice was calm, which somehow made it worse. "I am 27 years old, Hubert. I want stability. I want a future. Not this." I begged her to give me 6 more months. The product was almost ready. 6 more months, and everything would change. She stood up, picked up her bags, and looked at me with something close to pity. "You said that 6 months ago, and 6 months before that. I have to go." What she did not know was that I had bought an engagement ring. It was in my jacket pocket, purchased with the last of my savings. I had planned to propose that weekend. Instead, I watched her walk out the door. She left a short letter on the kitchen counter. Something about how she would always care about me but could not sacrifice her life for my dream. I sat on the floor of that empty apartment and cried. Not just because I lost her, but because a part of me wondered if she was right, if I was delusional, if I should have just taken the corporate job and played it safe. But the next morning I made a choice. If I quit now, everything I sacrificed, everything we lost, it would all mean nothing. So I kept going. 4 months later, everything changed. A venture capital firm reached out. They had seen a demo of my product online, shared by someone in a small business forum. They flew me to their office. 3 days later, they offered me $2.5 million in seed funding. I accepted. Within a year, we had 20 employees and $3 million in revenue. Year 2 brought 90 employees and $15 million in revenue. By year 3, which was now, we had 250 employees and $50 million in revenue. Nextech Solutions had become one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the industry. But here is the thing. I never went public with my role. I hired a COO named Patricia to be the face of the company. She handled media investor meetings, public appearances. My name was not on Forbes lists or TechCrunch articles. I wanted to focus on building the product, not becoming a celebrity. And maybe, just maybe, a part of me wanted to keep my private life private, wanted to avoid the drama that comes with sudden wealth and success. It meant that most of my employees had no idea what I looked like. They knew Patricia. They knew the executive team. But the founder, the CEO, just a name on their paychecks. So there I was back in that bar, watching my ex-wife and her new husband celebrate their apparently perfect life. I recognized everyone at the table. Derek was a senior sales manager at Nextech. The guy next to him, Kyle, worked in marketing. Jennifer and the other two were from the product team. All of them were on my payroll. All of them had no idea I was watching. Amanda looked different. Happier maybe. Or at least more polished. Her hair was professionally styled. Her makeup was flawless. The dress she wore probably cost more than our monthly rent used to. She was laughing at something Derek said, her hand resting on his arm. I felt a strange mix of emotions. Not jealousy exactly. More like looking at a stranger who used to be someone you knew. Then Kyle leaned forward and asked the question that changed everything. So Amanda, whatever happened to your ex? What was his name again? Hubert. Amanda smiled, a little embarrassed, and took a sip of her cocktail. Oh, last I heard, he is still trying to make that silly startup work. The table erupted in laughter. Derek jumped in immediately. Wait, you mean the guy who thought he could build a tech company in a garage? Classic. More laughter. Louder this time. My grip tightened on my glass. Derek was on a roll now. I make $120,000 a year at Nextech. Benefits included. Full package. Amanda deserves someone stable, not some dreamer living in Fantasyland. He kissed her cheek. She giggled. Kyle chimed in. Honestly, I feel bad for the guy. Probably still unemployed, eating cheap takeout every night. Jennifer nodded. Imagine being 30 years old and having nothing to show for it. My boyfriend was like that. I had to dump him. Life is too short to wait around for someone who refuses to grow up. What really got me was when Derek mentioned chicken lo mein. That was my go-to meal when money was tight. $3.50 from the place down the street. I must have eaten it 100 times during those 18 months. Hearing him mock the version of me who was struggling and grinding and refusing to give up, it felt like a knife twisting. Amanda did not defend me. She just sat there smiling, sipping her $15 cocktail. If anything, she seemed to enjoy the attention. Enjoy being the one who got away from the loser. The one who upgraded. Derek ordered another round. Top shelf whiskey this time. Macallan, 18 year. He raised his glass. You know what is funny? Guys like Hubert think they are Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. They think they are going to change the world. But reality check, 99% of startups fail. He probably burned through whatever savings he had. Amanda told me he even borrowed money from his parents. Pathetic. That detail stung more than anything. It was true. I had borrowed $8,000 from my parents. Money they had saved for their retirement. I had paid them back within the first year with interest, but the guilt never fully went away. Hearing it thrown around as a punchline made my blood boil. Kyle laughed so hard he nearly spilled his drink. I bet he is working some dead-end job now, pretending it is temporary. The whole table clinked glasses, celebrating their collective superiority over a man they had never met, over a version of me that no longer existed. Amanda finally spoke up. Let us not be too harsh. He was a good guy, just unrealistic. But the way she said it made everything worse. like she was talking about a naive child who believed in Santa Claus. Condescending, dismissive. Derek pulled her closer and kissed her again. "You upgraded, babe. That is what matters." I sat there frozen. Part of me wanted to walk out, to let them have their night, to let them believe whatever they wanted to believe. But another part of me, the part that had worked 18-hour days in a garage, the part that had risked everything while people like Amanda walked away, that part wanted justice, not revenge, justice. The bartender, a guy in his mid-40s named Marcus, noticed my expression. "You okay, man? Those people bothering you?" I shook my head. "No, just old ghosts." He nodded like he understood, and went back to wiping down glasses. I pulled out my phone and made a decision. I dialed Patricia. It was 10:30 at night, but she answered on the second ring. "Hubert, everything okay?" Her voice was concerned. "I never called this late unless something was seriously wrong. I need you to pull HR files for 5 employees. I am sending you their names right now." There was a pause. A long one. "Are you sure about this?" I could hear the unspoken question. She knew me well enough to know I did not make impulsive decisions. Completely sure. "Schedule a meeting for Monday morning, 9 a.m. Conference room B. Make it mandatory for those 5. And Patricia, yes, I will be there in person." Silence. Then, "You. But you never attend meetings. This one is different. Understood. Anything else?" "No. That is all." I hung up and stood. My legs felt steadier than they had in hours. I adjusted my jacket and walked across the bar toward their table. They were still laughing, still celebrating, still completely oblivious. I stopped at the edge of their table and cleared my throat. "Excuse me. Mind if I join you for a moment?" Derek turned, annoyance flashing across his face. "Do I know you?" There was a beat of silence. Then Amanda's eyes widened. Her face went pale. "Hubert." The entire table went quiet. You could have heard a pin drop. Derek looked between us confused, then realization dawned. "Wait. This is the Hubert, the unemployed ex." Kyle and Jennifer started laughing. It was uncomfortable laughter, the kind that fills awkward silence. I smiled, calm, steady. "Actually, I am not unemployed." Derek leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Oh yeah. What do you do, freelance web design?" More laughter, forced this time. I could see Amanda trying to catch my eye, trying to signal something, but I ignored her. "I run a company. Maybe you have heard of it. Next Tech Solutions." Confused silence. Kyle frowned. "That is where we work." "I know. I hired all of you." Derek scoffed. "Right. And I am the CEO of Apple." "This is pathetic, man." I pulled out my phone. Opened the company directory. My photo was listed at the top. Founder and CEO. I turned the screen toward them. I also opened my LinkedIn profile, which I had kept private until now. Every detail was there. Education, career history, the founding of Nextech, 3 years ago. Jennifer's face drained of color. Oh my God. Derek grabbed my phone, his hands shaking. He stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity. "This cannot be real. Very real. Patricia Nguyen is our COO. She handles day-to-day operations. I prefer to stay behind the scenes, focus on product development rather than public relations." Kyle started stammering. "Sir, we did not know. We were just—" I raised my hand. "Save it. I heard everything you said tonight. Every word. Every joke. Every insult. Amanda looked like she might be sick. Hubert, I cut her off. You are not my employee, Amanda. So, professionally, I have nothing to say to you. But the rest of you just made the biggest mistake of your careers." Derek stood up, trying to regain some composure. "You cannot do this. I have a contract." I stayed calm, professional. "At-will employment, Derek. Check your contract. Clause 7, Section 3. And even if that was not enough, creating a hostile work environment which includes mocking and disparaging others based on perceived employment status that violates company policy. Handbook page 42. I suggest you review it. Tonight. Because your employment at Next Tech Solutions is terminated effective immediately. I turned to Kyle and Jennifer. Same for both of you. And your two friends here as well. All 5 of you are done. Jennifer started crying. Please, I need this job. I have student loans. I looked at her without sympathy. You should have thought about that before participating in the public humiliation of someone you never met, before tearing down a stranger for cheap laughs. Actions have consequences. I turned back to Amanda. She was frozen, her hand over her mouth. As for you, like I said, you are not my employee, but personally, you left me when things were hard. That was your choice, and I respect it. People are allowed to choose their own path. But mocking me 3 years later, laughing about my struggles while sitting comfortably in the life you have now, that shows exactly who you became. I hope Derek's salary was worth it. Because he does not have one anymore. I reached into my wallet and placed $200 on the table. This covers my drink and the entertainment. Keep the change. Then I walked out. Behind me, I could hear chaos erupting. Voices rising. Someone crying. Someone yelling. But I did not look back. The cool night air hit my face as I stepped outside. It felt different. Cleaner. Lighter. There was no satisfaction in what I had just done. No rush of victory. Just closure. A sense that something broken had finally been set right. My phone buzzed. A text from Patricia. I assume the meeting Monday is canceled, I typed back. Yes. Send termination papers via email tomorrow morning. Legal will handle the rest. She responded immediately. Understood. For what it is worth, I think you did the right thing. I did not reply. I walked back to my car, got in and drove home. The entire drive I thought about the last 3 years, about the nights I worked until dawn, about the rejections from investors, about the moments I almost gave up, about Amanda walking out that door with her suitcases. And I realized something. Her leaving me was the best thing that ever happened. Not because I wanted revenge, or because I wanted to prove her wrong, but because it forced me to prove something to myself, that I was capable, that my vision was real, that I could build something meaningful, even when everyone doubted me. 6 months passed. I made the decision to go public as CEO. Forbes featured me in their 30 under 30 list. TechCrunch wrote a profile. Suddenly, the world knew my name. Nextech expanded to 500 employees. We opened offices in 3 new cities. Revenue doubled. I met someone new. Her name was Lauren. She was an environmental scientist working on climate change research. We met at a conference where I was speaking about sustainable business practices. She had no idea who I was. Did not care about my company or my money. We talked for 3 hours about ocean acidification and carbon capture technology. It was the best conversation I had in years. We started dating, slowly, carefully. She loved me for who I was, not what I had. That made all the difference. I heard through mutual connections that Derek struggled to find a new job. Word spreads fast in the tech industry. Being fired for creating a hostile work environment is not exactly a resume booster. Amanda and Derek's relationship became strained. Apparently losing a 6-figure income puts pressure on even the strongest marriages. They separated within a year. I wish I could say I cared, but I did not. Their choices were their consequences. I had moved on, really truly moved on, not in the way people say they have when they are still nursing wounds, but in the way where you look back at your past and feel grateful for the lessons, even the painful ones. One afternoon, I was in my office when Patricia knocked on the door. She had a strange expression. "What is it?" "There is someone here to see you. They do not have an appointment, but they are insisting it is important." "Who?" She hesitated. "Amanda." I felt nothing. No anger. No curiosity. Just a mild sense of inconvenience. Tell her I am busy. Are you sure? Positive. If she needs something professional, she can go through the proper channels. Otherwise, I have nothing to say. Patricia nodded and left. I went back to reviewing code. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It was Amanda. I know you are busy. I just wanted to say, I am sorry. For everything. You deserved better. I stared at the message for a moment. Then I deleted it. Not out of spite, but because I genuinely did not need the apology. That chapter was closed. The wounds had healed. There was nothing left to say. I leaned back in my chair and looked out the window. The sun was setting over the city. My city now. The place where I had failed and succeeded and learned what I was made of. I thought about that night in the bar, about Derek's laughter, about Amanda's silence, about the moment I decided to stop hiding and start standing up for myself, and I smiled. Not because I had won some petty battle, but because I had won something much more important. I had won my own respect. I had proven to myself that dreams are not foolish, that hard work matters, that the people who mock you today might be working for you tomorrow, or not working for you at all. But more importantly, I learned that success is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving yourself right. It is about waking up every day and choosing to believe in your vision even when no one else does, even when the person you love walks away. Even when you are eating $3 takeout alone in a garage at 2 a.m, wondering if you have made the biggest mistake of your life. Because sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. Sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming the person they said you could never be, and then realizing you did not do it for them. You did it for you. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been underestimated? Have you ever had someone look at you and decide you were not worth their time? What did you do about it? Drop your story in the comments below. I want to hear it. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe so you do not miss future videos. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who is grinding in their garage right now, wondering if it is all worth it. Trust me, it is. Thank you for watching. I hope you walk away from this with something valuable. Maybe it is motivation. Maybe it is validation. Maybe it is just the reminder that your worth is not determined by other people's opinions. Whatever it is, hold on to it and keep building your dream, no matter who doubts you, no matter who walks away. Because one day, you might just end up being the person signing their paychecks. Or better yet, you will be so far ahead that their opinions do not even register anymore. Take care of yourselves. Keep pushing forward. And remember, the only approval you truly need is your own.